As the economy recovers, we did wonder about demand for high-end luxury products such as super yachts. This past weekend, I went to the largest North American boat show to find out. In Fort Lauderdale, I caught up with super yacht broker Peter Brown from Burgess, and on board from one of the yachts that he's selling. Peter told me that the 12 to 18 months following Lehman's failure in September 2008 was extremely tough. Now, while the market is not back to the way it was before the recession, he says there is some improvement. I asked him for some sales statistics.
In the first quarter of this year, we've seen a dramatic increase, and sales activity in the first quarter increased to the tune of around 90%.
Okay. But the caveat being this is a relatively low volume business, so I'm assuming you sold, around 20 boats in the first quarter of this year?
It was around about 20 boats, yeah, versus, almost half that number in the first quarter of 2009. And the figures, in terms of asking prices and adding all the values of these yachts together, they can be skewed dramatically by one or two sales.
How far are you from the 2007 levels pre-crisis?
Inevitably, we've had a troubled 18 months or so, and one can't truthfully say that we're back where we were in 2006, 2007. There seems to be renewed levels of confidence and serious buyers walking the docks looking to make deals, and that's a significant change over late 2008, early 2009.
Are you still seeing forced sales?
There are forced sales in the market if you know where to look, generally at the smaller end of the market, and by the smaller end I'm talking really $10 million and less, which is obviously a vast amount of money to purchase a boat with, but that's where we're seeing
in the yachting world, that's the smaller level.
In the yachting world, dare I say it, that's the small fish.
So who is exactly buying right now? I mean, is it the same category of people that bought pre-crisis level, or is there a new breed?
I think essentially the buyers that we're seeing now are the same as the buyers that we saw pre-September 2008. I would say perhaps there's more of the older established money that's making the market right now, as opposed to the very new, the Russian market, for example, was a huge factor in our industry in 2006, 2007, and that dropped away a little bit in 2008.
So they were really pushing up demand and pushing up prices, and they quieted down during the crisis.
They pushed up demand, dramatically, and in many cases paying, big numbers for brand new, high pedigree, high quality yachts. They wanted the very best, and they wanted it very, very quickly.
Peter, how does Wall Street fit in on the buyers and the sellers? I mean, how many hedge fund managers, private equity people, financial company CEOs do you see?
Obviously, that's always been, those professionals have always been a very, very important part of our business. Difficult to quantify, I suppose, but in the North American market, one would think there's probably 20 to 25% of our market is made by professionals in that area of business.
What about the nationalities? Are they just as mixed, or does yachting appeal to certain cultures more than others?
Across the board, really. Our strongest markets probably right now are Europe and America. And America is always going to be our biggest market. I think there's a larger number of billionaires in mainland USA than anywhere else in the world. But this year we've also had buyers from Australia, we've had buyers from Canada, we've had buyers from the Middle East, and Russia is still there, of course.
How many new Chinese billionaires are you seeing? New Indian billionaires are you seeing?
Yeah, we reacted to what we perceive as potentially a real explosion in Asia, in our market a couple of years ago with the opening of our office in Mumbai. And two of my colleagues actually only 2 weeks ago were out in Singapore at the Asian Super Yacht Conference sniffing out that market. And there's absolutely no doubt that with what's going on in China and the exponential increase in wealth there at the high end, it's a market that all of us in the industry are keeping a very, very careful eye on.
So Peter says demand from the Far East not quite the same, you heard him say it, as it is in North America or Europe, but he predicts he's going to be jumping on more planes flying east in the next 2 to 3 years.